Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video we're gonna be talking about the King of Fighters 15, the basics of the game, so that you can start off the game when it launches for everyone, and the 17s having an idea of what you can do. Obviously, if you have pre-ordered the deluxe edition on console, you get a couple of days of early access. King of Fighters is a traditional 2D fighting game. I know that most of my viewers are Street Fighter players, so I'm here to kinda ease you with the transition. Like I said, the game is traditional, so it is back to block. Obviously, it's always important to know how to defend yourself. The game is also a 4 buttons fighting game. So we have the light punch, heavy punch, light kick and heavy kick. And the community in general, if you are checking out anything on KOF online, you will always see the A, B, C, D notations. A, B are the lights, so A is light punch, B is light kick, C is heavy punch, D is heavy kick, right? So A, B, lights, C, D are the heavies. And the game also features proximity normals. So this is, for example, the closed heavy punch or the closed C, right? It's this double fist, and this is the far C, which is like the far heavy punch, which is this punch poke. The game also, like Street Fighter, have a bunch of special moves for each characters. Many of the move and their input would be very traditional to you. This is, for example, the special moves for Terry. We got the fireball motion, backward fireball, half circle and dragon punches. And just like Street Fighter, most of the special moves have light and heavy versions. So this is a light fireball, right? And this is the heavy fireball, this is the light burn knuckle, and this is the heavy burn knuckle. And if you press the two punches together, or if you use a shortcut, you will get the EX version, right? So this is the typical light one, this is the EX, right? All of this is very similar to Street Fighter. The difference here is that EX moves will use only half of your bar. If you note, the game down there have a 5-bar system. An EX move in King of Fighters cost half of your bar, not a full bar like Street Fighter 5, right? Not like a stock of your EX gauge. And in many ways, King of Fighters is different than Street Fighter in how the mobility in general works. Most of the characters will have a rather slow walk speed, I will say, but everyone have a run. If you hold forward, or like if you dash and hold forward, kind of like what you do with Rashid in Street Fighter 5, the characters will start running. You press down or you press down back at any moment, or any normal, and the character will stop. If you have played Guilty Gear, this is somewhat similar to that, right? And obviously one of the very special aspects of King of Fighters is the jump system. This is where the game is really different than Street Fighter. Where Street Fighter is mostly about neutral reactions with punishment and all of that, King of Fighters is a very active game. It's a game that you kinda have to play by heart, I will say. A lot of it is about being preemptive and trying to read the opponent rather than trying to react to them. It's not a game where you can just sit there, react, and play the clean neutral. You kinda have to go ham in this game, or at least play active neutral. Like, even if you're not if you're not rushing in, you kinda need to move, right? It's in many ways, again, kind of similar to the philosophy of Guilty Gear Strive. You can't just sit there and wait for the opponent like you can in Street Fighter, and that is gonna be a challenge for some of the Street Fighter players to transition. But with some time you will get the hang of it. The game is special because it have different jumps. So in King of Fighters there are 4 different jumps, and each of them go a different distance. This is the regular jump, and this is like any traditional jump in any game, and it's a standard fairly high height, and it can be easy to anti-air. Now there is another jump, and this one is similar to Guilty Gear, which is the super jump. You press down and then jump, and notice this Terry is jumping a much longer distance, and you can obviously run, and if you run and then jump, you will do a super jump as well, right? Again, if you are into Guilty Gear Strive, this aspect is very similar to you. Now what's different is the hops. This is kind of what is special about King of Fighters, and hops are done by, you know, it's pretty much by gently tapping upwards, right? And hops are really good because they are very short, right? So they are a lot harder to anti-air. Now each characters obviously do have their anti-airs. You will find that standing jabs in general are really good, and for many characters their close C's and D's are really good as well. So for example, here we have Athena, and she will be doing one of her like a hop attack, right? This is like a hyper hop, but it's still fairly difficult to anti-air, right? If you try to anti-air her normally, you will get a trade. Obviously I can go for my dedicated anti-air here, but notice this, it's kinda hard. This is what I was talking about. Obviously a character like Terry have a DP, so you can DP if she jumps. DPs here are fully invincible, kind of like Street Fighter, but you kinda have to be looking forward to it. Now one tip I will address here is that when you happen to hit someone and they are in an airborne state, especially if you happen to hit them with a heavy normal, like Terry's down forward C, notice this, it's saying counter. And in King of Fighters, when you hit someone like that, as I think in this game, I'm not sure if it was in the older games, the opponent is both in a soft juggle state. So on this counter, I can actually get a DP here and it will fully connect, right? This is because I hit her out of the air in a counter hit state, right? If she is just doing a typical, like for example, jump here, and I try to do it, she will get air reset. But on a counter, because I anti-aired her, I will actually get the juggle. So this is something to keep in mind to maximize on your anti-airs. Now getting back to the jump, it is important to know the final one, which is the hyper hop. It's similar to the super jump, you just press down and then hop, and this is a good way to apply pressure, especially from distance. It's a really aggressive jump angle, and King of Fighters, a lot of it is about approaching the opponent from the air. Jumps in general are very powerful in this game, so like I said, you kinda have to play preemptive. Check her out with jabs, check her out with dedicated anti-airs. Try to DP if you're looking for it, but as you can see, it is difficult. But you kinda need to play it in an active way, like I said. Some characters have like close, crouching kicks which can anti-air, but obviously this is a fairly character specific. You do have the option to roll out, and rolling is another option that you can do in King of Fighters. Rolls are fully invincible, but they do have recovery, and because they are fully invincible, you can use them against zoning in this game. So let's say for example that Athena here is gonna be throwing her fireballs. Now this is the first recording. Obviously I'm still kinda getting used to the training mode, right? So notice this, I was able to bust through the fireball, but because I do have recovery on the roll, it said punish. Athena followed up on the fireball and she was able to punish me. So rolling against fireballs is an option, or obviously you can hop over them if you want. You can try your own fireball as well, and this will trade, obviously a little bit character specific, or you can just block, but rolling is an option, right? Just make sure that you don't get punished. So let's now talk briefly about the game's combo structure and the pressure structure in general, because in this game it obviously have normal throws like any other games, and they are techable. You do a normal throw by pressing either forward or backward, and a heavy normal. A heavy punch will give you a forward throw, so even if you pressed back and heavy punch, you will still get the forward throw. Heavy kick will always give you a back throw, right? So the direction you press doesn't really matter. It is the normal that you pressed, whether you pressed heavy punch or heavy kick. If the opponent try to throw at the same time, you will get a tech throw or like throw tech, and this is how you break through, obviously. Now the game combo structure is also, I would say, kinda similar to Street Fighter, but also really different in many ways. You can chain normals, so this is very similar to Street Fighters. For example, for a character like Ayori, you can do crouching light kick, crouching light punch, and then you can cancel a special out of that. This is very standard if you have played Street Fighter V. But another system in King of Fighters that is very important is that you can do a normal into a command normal and then cancel that command normal into a special move, right? An example is Ayori's forward light kick or forward B. This attack is typically not special cancelable, right? But if you happen to do, for example, a heavy punch, right, you can cancel that into the forward B, and notice the attack is animating a lot faster. Now it's saying 2 hits, and now it actually is special cancelable. This combo structure is very common in King of Fighters. Most characters in this game, if not everyone I believe, actually have command normals, so it's something that you will have to take advantage of with the majority of the cast. And another trick that is actually really helpful in King of Fighters is what they call the hold trick. So pretty much if you want to get a special move or a super or whatever to come out, and it does require some timing, what you can do is you buffer the input, like you do the input and then you hold the move or the button, and as soon as it is available to come out, it will come out. If you notice here, I jumped, did the DP in the air, and then held the button. I held it for 36 frames and I still got it, the game gave it to me. Another example is like doing the EX Rekka here with Ayori. You can get like a DB follow-up here, right? Obviously regular releases will require some timing, but you can do the whole trick as well. And here I held it for 45 frames and I still got it. So you can always do this, it will make your life a lot easier during combos. Now as far as combos go in King of Fighters, obviously I am doing a lot of combo guides for many characters. There is a lot of specifics, but in this game you pretty much wanna use EX moves. A lot of characters can't really get like good combo extensions without EX moves, or you wanna use max mode. And what's really good about attacks like Ayori's like overhead like that is this move, I mean you can cancel it into max mode. If you're using the default configuration, it's gonna be R1 or like the I believe it is the light kick and like heavy punch. Not really sure what is the notation, but you know, max mode is R1 by default. I will actually highly recommend you setting up a shortcut for this one. But pretty much when you cancel into max mode, you will get the slowdown, and in max mode you pretty much get access to do special moves, EX special moves and supers without really consuming any of your actual gauge. So for example, this is me doing EX uppercut, right? Typically this costs half of my gauge. When I activate max mode, right, it didn't cost me anything, the timer is still ticking. It's pretty much costing you a part of the timer, and this is where a lot of the like high damage combos come from. Like I said, I'm doing a lot of combo guides for each character, so look forward to that, and I will leave a playlist to that below. And obviously you can do raw max mode, this gives you a longer timer. If you activate max mode and then you cancel into like a super for example, it will not consume any of the gauge. Again, it will also consume the timer. This is how you get a lot of these big damage combos. Now another thing that is actually important to know is what is called the blowback attacks and the shutter strikes. Blowback attacks is you pressing C and D, right? It is the heavy punch and heavy kick. And what is really powerful about these moves is that if you happen to hit them, they will wall pound the opponent like that. And they are special cancelable by the way, so like you can get follow-ups on them, and they are special cancelable on whiff, right? So notice this, before the CD comes out, I'm cancelling into the Rekka with Ayori, or like I can cancel it into Fireball. This is pretty much giving you like a Kara Fireball, kind of like what you can do with Sagat in Street Fighter V. Some characters have this technique be very useful for them. The use of this is kind of character specific, but it is an important thing to note. But another mechanic that is really powerful as well is what is called Shatter Strike. And Shatter Strike is done by pressing a quarter circle forward and pressing C plus D, right? And this is powerful because it will put the opponent in a crumble state as you see, and this will allow you to combo after it, right? So when you do it like that, right? Now you get a follow-up and it only costs half a bar, so actually going for it is a pretty good tactic in my opinion. It is kind of cost-effective way of getting really good damage. So let's now talk about a couple of the game's defensive options as well as the wake up knockdown game, because it's actually really important. Let's start first by a couple of the defensive options. If you are a Street Fighter 5 players, you know V-reversals, and V-reversals comes in two types. You have the escape V-reversals, kinda like Nash's, Colleen's, etc. And we have the strike V-reversals, and you get pulls in King of Fighters. If you are blocking, you can press back and roll, and this will pretty much give you like an escape type V-reversal, right? You can get out of the way, and obviously you can roll forward as well. And this is really good if you're cornered, right? I will actually recommend doing this a lot, especially if the opponent is pressuring you heavily in the corner. They are a good escape option. The other thing is using blowback attacks, right? And this is pretty much the same as a knockdown V-reversal, right? You use it, you knock down the opponent, you're not really doing damage, you're just getting them off of you. I think this is really good as well. Another option that is very nice is the Shatter Strike in the neutral. This is pretty much a focus attack type move. You will absorb one hit with armor and then you will get to hit the opponent, right? So let's see, here's that Kyo is gonna jump, right? I absorbed one hit and then I hit him. When I land the hit, the opponent will be in a crumble state. But it's not a crumble state that you can get a grounded combo after, right? For the most part, you're just gonna get a juggle, so you will get a small combo like here, combo like into a suplex or something, or like combo into a DB. If you are using a character with an uppercut, you don't get a full grounded combo on this Shatter Strike hit. If you happen to hit them out of the air, you will get a wall bounce, and you can combo after this one as well. You can get a juggle here. These ones are really good. Now, one thing to note about Shatter Strike is that they are unsafe on block. Notice here we were really negative, so they are unsafe. Only use them if you are hard calling out the opponent. The attack is different for each character. Some have really good ones, some have kind of shitty ones, like Shirimi's is really short, while Mai, for example, have a really long Shatter Strike. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, another thing that is very important to know in this game is that when you hit the ground, let's say that you did a combo on the opponent, you knock them down on the ground, obviously they can just sit there, and if they stay there, you will get really good pressure against them, right? But what you can do is roll as soon as you hit the ground, and this is very important to do. Most of the knockdowns in King of Fighters are soft knockdowns, and you can roll out of them, and this will significantly weaken the O-key of the opponent on hit, right? And obviously very good. On the corner, I mean, the opponent will pretty much get like a better jump against you, so maybe not the best of ideas, but mid-screen I will actually highly recommend it. Now, another thing that is very important to know in this game specifically is how to pressure the opponent on wake up. Because if you're watching this channel, chances are, like I said, you are a Street Fighter 5 player, and what do we do in Street Fighter 5? We knock down the opponent and then we dash up for a meaty, right? This is what we do. But in this game, wake up throws are invincible from frame 1. So here I did my meaty, but notice Kyo actually threw me out of it. And this is gonna happen regardless of what you do, right? This is very obnoxious. It's a very powerful defensive option, which I quite frankly don't like, because the defender already have wake up roll, the defender have uppercut, they can just escape with a roll cancel out of guard, they can block and then like V reversal use or blowback. They have DPs, they have wake up buttons, they have wake up backdash, they have a lot of options. So I don't love the opponent having such a powerful defensive wake up option as well, but it is what it is. So how do we actually get to beat this annoying option, right? And there are two ways, right? There are two main ways here. You can use like a spaced move, like for example like a spaced crouching light kick, and these are usually really good. So you do something like this, Although this is like, as you can see, it's even not even that consistent, right? But this is like an option that you can do, or you can meaty jump the opponent, or like safe jump against the opponent, right? And I this is like my personal preferred method, right? You will get a jump like that, and even if the opponent try to wake up with a, if they try to wake up with a throw, you pretty much got it. So what do you do if the opponent have a DB? Let's say a character like Kyo, like we will knock him down here. Let's see if he's gonna wake up with the DB. Right, let's set it. I do believe it's like the second option. Let's turn this one off. Right, so now he is gonna try to wake up with a DB, and this is the most important part. You wanna get your safe jumps down. Like since this one was Shermie, for example, this is a safe jump. Right, I get to block it, and then I get to punish him. So if he try to wake up with a throw, I get the hit. If he try to wake up with a DB, I still get to block. This is very, very important to learn in this game, because trust me, wake up throws will break you. And that is pretty much it for today's video. I don't want to make it too long. The game is really not that intimidating. Try out the trial, check out my combo videos. The combos are a big part, but they're not as big as you want. I know a lot of players are asking about like the team structure. Pretty much it's like the first character gets the least amount of meters, the third character gets the most. Obviously there are like preferred team structures, but anything will pretty much work, and you can the most important thing is to just have some sort of like variety in the character archetypes in your team, so that you don't get beat by a specific archetype. Yes, the order will matter somewhat, but honestly, like any order will work. Just make sure that the character that can use meters the best is your final character. And that's pretty much it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, helps the channel so much. I will be leaving a link to the Patreon page, the Discord server page, and the Twitter page in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, and stay safe.